Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to our kit review for the home kit, the new home kit for the 2022-2023 season. It's released today. Obviously, it's been the worst kept secret in football that with the change of sponsorship, I think the only way the Hummel could release the kit was once that expired with Kazoo, and now we've had a little look at it. Me, Paul, and myself have had a little look at it, and at the time of recording, we've not seen any videos or any players wearing it, but we've seen the kit as on mannequins and all the details for everything there. So, first of all, what's your initial reaction to the kit, Paul? What do you think?
It's okay. I've seen better kits, but I've seen far worse ones as well. My first impression was it reminds me of that one that we had under Sports Pisa. I think, the year that we ended up, I think it was Allardyce. We had went into it with Koeman, then we had Unsworth for a month, and then we ended up with Allardyce, where it was a bit plain looking. Now, plain kits are often can work really well, especially with Everton when you've got a really iconic colour like royal blue and just the white shorts, white socks. You can overdo it very easily with Everton kits, and some manufacturers have in the past. So when I looked at it, I thought it was a bit plain Jane, but now that I've actually studied it properly, I'm slowly warming round to it. It's definitely a lot better than some of the ones that we had under Martinez and Gemma that monstrosity in his first season, and a couple of the ones that we had under Moyes, but it's still not top of my list of terms of absolutely brilliant kits. You'll never top the 14-15 one for me. Martinez's second season, but this one's a solid. I'd give it maybe a 5.5, 6 out of 10. It's not bad, but I'm not going to buy it most likely.
I've got quite a lot to unpack there. I mean, I didn't think we'd get through any kit review without mentioning that second year of Martinez home kit.
No, it's impossible, isn't it? Like it's a scar, isn't it? It's burnt onto everyone's brain. That kit.
No, I mean the good kit, the second one.
Oh, the good one. Oh yeah, that's my personal favourite. The home kit of the season we were in the Europa League under Martinez, and we wore it against Wolfsburg and against Lille and Young Boys, and that's a cracking kit. But since then, we've kind of been a bit hit and miss, haven't we? I didn't like any of the Sports Pesa ones, to be honest with you. And Chang was very.
Yeah, well, this is this kit. I think I actually quite like it. Like you seem a little lukewarm on it. I like the classic, looking kits, like especially the home kits. I'll be honest, I didn't like last season's kit with the weird sort of bar design, but I think the print on this kit is nice. I think the simplicity is a good thing. The white collar I'm a fan of. Small nitpick, the sleeves, I would have liked a white trim on the end of the sleeves like the collar, but that's not a big deal. I actually really like this kit. I'd give it I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Like, there's not, when you say Everton's kits have been hit and miss, they've been more missed than hit for me. And this is Hummel's third year, and I've not liked last season's kit, but I adored their first year, like Ancelotti year one, and this one's second to that, but it's a close second. I really like it. So we'll go over some of the details on the kit now, some of the little extras that we can see on it. So first of all, the pattern that's on the the sort of chest and torso aspect of the kit, it's like a
shade of blue, isn't it?
No, it's the same shade of blue, but it's a stylized like St. Rupert's Tower. So I've seen this on other Hummel kits this year where they've got a sort of embossed pattern, but not in a separate colour. What do you think of the pattern, even though it's very understated? Are you a fan of that?
It depends what you do with it. I mean, it looks okay what we've got, but you can imagine that would ruin a lot of other kits if Hummel use the same template with whoever else they sponsor. It's not bad. I mean, I do like the St. Rupert's Tower on the back near the neck. Sometimes we get things like 1878 on there. Sometimes we just get like a little. I think we've had like a white Everton badge in the past, but I did like that. I like we're going back to blue, white, haven't we? My favourite kit, as I've touched upon, wasn't blue, white. It was it was royal blue, white navy socks, but blue,
Let me
white,
just
white is typical.
you say we're going back to that. We haven't been away from that for a lot of years.
I lose track. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Have we? I mean,
what would be your ideal for that? Because a lot of people some people want all blue, some people want blue, white, blue. There's obviously blue, white, white is the one we consistently go with. Is that the setup you like, blue, white, white?
It is for me. All blue is not Everton. I don't think. That's Leicester. I think of all blue. Blue shorts, blue top, and white socks is Chelsea. And blue, white, blue. Is that something that came along in the 90s, really? Because it seems like we always had that under Walter Smith, and in the early years of Moyes, when we had that like one-to-one sponsor, and when we had whoever we had before, that was another mobile company, wasn't it? In the mid 90s, blue, white, blue. It can work some of the time, but I prefer blue, white, white. And as you said, I said we've gone back to it. We've not been away from it, but maybe it's just because I've got so used to blue, white, white that sometimes I'm maybe misremembering kits, thinking that they were blue, white, white when they were, because blue, white, white is at its shockers as well. But
it changes throughout the season. Obviously, depending on we'll wear the blue kit away and whatnot. But when we're at home, like 50% of the games at the very least, it will be the setup with blue, white, white. But just going on to some of the other details of the kit, there's obviously touch on the pattern. The white collar. Not really much you can say about that. It's just a white circular collar rather than like a polo collar or like a buttons collar, which we've had recently. What do you think of the little white panels under the arms? You mentioned the kit under the Allardyce year, and that was for me the worst kit we've had in my life. It was awful. They had the darker tone of blue underarm panels, and they were huge. The white on this one, are you a fan of that, or does it not really make a difference to you?
It's different, isn't it? I remember sometime in the mid 2000s under Benitez, Liverpool had a kit like that, the white on the armpit part of the shirt. We've had other things similar to that, haven't we? But not quite. I remember one year we had like the white as like a line, didn't we? I think it was the year. I always think of James Beattie and Nuno Valente in that kit.
Yeah.
We've had that before. We've had like little bits of yellow before. We have had like patterns under the arm before, but yeah, my first impression when I first saw this one was that reminds me a lot of I think the Liverpool. Oh, was it the kit that they won the FA Cup in 06? I'm positive they had a kit like that under Benitez, and I thought it looked quite smart. And I'm not against it.
I'm big on my kits, but I can remember. I think I vaguely remember what kit you're talking about. But I can't remember what it was.
I always think of John Arne Riise wearing it for some reason. It was the year after they won the European Cup. I'm positive it was, or maybe the year after that. But I've never seen Everton with that sort of pattern before. We've had other things, as I said, like the white line that went all the way down your waist of the shirt, and I think we've had like bits of yellow on the sleeve and all that before, haven't we? And I remember, was it Moyes' last season where we just had just white sort of whatever it was, like, do you remember it? Naismith. It was Moyes' last season, the season we signed Naismith and Morales, and we had Jelavic wearing it. We had like the white armbands, didn't we?
I know what you mean. I mean, yeah. I think I remember that. But one final detail that I'm not sure everyone will have noticed, but previously Hummel's chevrons on the shoulders, on the training gear, there was two chevrons, like sort of two arrows or whatever.
Yeah. On the now, have we?
The kit always had four, but the training gear had two. Whereas this year the kit has got two. Now I haven't seen any of the training gear yet. That'll probably be the same, but they've basically binned two of the chevrons off each sleeve. So now the home kit, and I assume the kits that'll follow, I've got two chevrons per arm rather than four. That's the thing that lets the kit down for me. That because I think it looked better with four chevrons per arm. I think it looked more. It was a more unique design feature. I think the two is not enough, and I think three. I haven't seen it with three, but probably better than two. It's not again. It's a kit review. It's blue. It's got an Everton badge, etc. But if we're going to nitpick, I'm not a fan of the two chevrons. I like them to be four each side.
I'm not. I'm not a fan of the chevrons. Is that just a Hummel signature? Is it?
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
formal signature the same way Adidas have got 3 stripes. It's just it's specific to them. You're never going to not have them.
As in it's on all their kits. I mean, I think 4 looks a lot better than 2. I agree with you. I think that when they've got 2 on this new one, it just feels like they've been just thrown on there at the last minute for no reason, doesn't it? I like it on the training kits because I think it suits like a zip up top really well. The chevrons or an like a tracksuit or a sweatshirt, just something you could see someone working out in the gym type thing. So I think it suits that. But when you put it on a kit, I just don't think it quite comes across as well. And I definitely think 4 is better than 2. So if you're going to keep them, they might as well have just stuck with the 4 and rather than just changing it to 2 like the training kits do. But I agree with what you mean. I'm not a fan of that particularly. I just like the sleeves to be all blue. And if you're going to put any white on it, then put it under the arm, as we've just touched upon. I just think when you see the actual shirt itself, sort as people are walking around or when you see it modelled on like a mannequin, you should just see all blue. I'm not really a fan. I mean, the collars, we've had like white collars over the years. We've had button ones. I can live with them as long as they're not, over the top. But I just think any white below the neck or anything like that is kind of ruins the kit a little bit. But as you say, we're nitpicking a bit. So I agree with you on the chevrons. If they're going to keep them, they should have stuck with 4 instead of just moving it down to 2 because it just kind of feels like there's no point having them there.
Yeah, I mean, that for me is a mark against it, but certainly a mark in its favour. And I know I'm not going to be universally agreed with you, but I'm glad we've taken the yellow off of the kit now. I've never, ever been a fan of having yellow on Everton kits. I'm fine with an amber away kit, obviously, but the yellow detail, I think, makes it takes away from our kits, and we've come away from that again this year. Unlike last year, we've now got just blue with white detail. And I suppose the main just talking point of the kit, which didn't want to go lead off on, but we'll sort of finish on it now. The new sponsor, stake.com. Now, the conversation about having a betting crypto company on the shirts for another video, just visually, what do you think of the new shirt sponsor?
It's a lot better than Sports Pacer and Kazoo, isn't it? I didn't like Kazoo. I just thought it looked a bit, just even saying it out loud, it sounds a bit Mickey Mouse, doesn't it? Kazoo. Do you know what I mean? Well, what do you laugh?
No, it's just because I think Steak's a bit Mickey Mouse, but visually, I've seen some pictures of the kit where the logo looks enormous, but then when it's in context, when it's on mannequins, and I'm sure when it's on players, it actually looks an appropriate size. It's just, I'm with you on the purely visual point. I think stake.com actually looks better than Kazoo and certainly better than Sport Pacer. Sport Pacer didn't even look like a real logo. It was just white block lettering with no font to it at all. Kazoo I was more on board with because at least that was a visual company in the UK. They were on television in the middle of matches and what have you, and it had slightly different look. But I thought that logo was a little bit small. Whereas stake.com, I think that logo fills the space more, but not to the huge sarcastic degree that it looks like it did on the Watford kit last year. So I'm happy with how the kit looks and the sponsor looks on the kit. I think it's not as big when you see it on mannequin or in person.
It was red on the Watford kits, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. It was definitely bigger. I feel
it jumped out at you far too much on the Watford kits. Maybe it's just because it was against a yellow and black background, but white on a blue background will always look smarter, won't it? Visually on the eye. So yeah, the sponsor I haven't got a problem with. I mean, as you said, the morals thing of it's a gambling company, blah 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 blah. We can talk about that another time. But in terms of just how it visually looks on the shirt, I don't mind it. I think it's definitely an upgrade from Kazoo and Sports Pacer. I thought they looked a bit silly, to be honest with you. And I agree with your point when you said, I'm glad we took yellow off it completely because I don't understand why we've ever had yellow on the kit. I mean, I'm all for having amber away kits. I'm all for people feeling like amber is the definitive Everton second colour other than blue and white. But why we have yellow and it's not, we've never had amber on a home kit. It's always like yellow, as in canary yellow. And I just don't understand. I can't remember the time we've ever had a canary yellow kit.
Yeah.
The only little shade of it that I've ever thought was okay was I think it was one of the latter years Moyes ones. We had like a button up, and I think it had gold in it.
Yeah, that was Amber. It was the KL kit. I know which one you mean.
But, yeah. It was all around 2011, 2012. That's the only time we've ever had a sort of non-blue and white colour, just amber, yellow, gold, whatever you want. We've had that sort of colour on our shirt. I thought it actually looked smart because it was very, very subtle and it was very hard to notice. Only if you had the shirt on would you notice it as you were doing your buttons up. But all this having little yellow on the sleeve that we had a few years ago with Lukaku, or the yellow we had one year when we were in the Europa League. It was just in the collar, wasn't it? And I remember Andrew Johnson wearing it. I think that was 2007, 2008. I've always thought that's just silly, and I don't know why we do it. If we're going to have anything other than blue and white on the home kit, it should be amber, not just, Big Bird from, what's it called? Sesame, we all know that the yellow, we have Big Bird from Sesame Street yellow. That's what I was going for. We've had that before, and it just looks silly.
It took a strange turn, but so you said it was a 5.5, 6 out of 10. Did you say for the kit?
I'll be generous. I'll give it a 6. It's not like blown me away type good. I'm probably not going to buy it, but I've seen a lot worse, and it's an upgrade on the ones we've just had. So you've got to give it a thumbs up for the fact that it's better than the 2 previous ones that come before it. So I'll give it a 6 myself. It's not bad. I can live with it for the season, but I would like next season's one to be even better.
Right, okay. I'm actually a little bit more positive on it than that. I'm going to give it a 7.5 or an 8. I look at it as a nice, classic-looking Everton home kit. That's, I'm quite happy with it. It's a definite improvement on last season, and I'm happy with all the details on it. The only complaints I've got about are very minor, personal changes, personal picadillos, but not nothing major. So I'm quite happy with it, and there we have it. So the new Everton home kit for the 2022-23 season is out. If you would like to buy the kit, then please see the link in the description of this video and in our pinned comments. And yeah, Everton's new kit. Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you next time on the Toffee Blues.